Yeah, listen, that's a bigger question than I usually get into, and the reason is you don't know how anyone handles their weight cuts. Now, Chris Curtis is one of those fighters that's fought from welterweight 170 to light heavyweight 205, right? So obviously he's a big guy. So the question is, how does his body handle being depleted at 170? Because make no mistake about it, guys, when you cut weight, you're weakening your body. The question is, are you able to keep enough strength to be stronger than the guys that are in that weight class? We've talked a lot about weight bullies, right? Conor McGregor, David Benavidez, two classic weight bullies. Like I said, Conor McGregor's technique is awesome. I love watching him kickbox at 170 because he can do amazing things with a lot of energy, but he doesn't hurt anyone. Now, as far as Chris Curtis goes, he was very competitive at 185 as well, right? Like he had some wins there, he had some losses, but most of the losses he was defeated by decision, not knockout. But there's another aspect to Chris Curtis that I like, and it's that he had two professional boxing fights. One of the biggest problems with modern MMA is everything gets mushed into one. And I'm not meaning to pick on jiu-jitsu schools. This is very common in jiu-jitsu schools. Like they treat stand-up like it's one art. So karate, boxing, Muay Thai, and whatever else gets mushed into one. So the competitor is not any one of those things. But when you train those arts in isolation, you bring the best parts of those arts over to MMA. So the fact that Chris Curtis trained for a professional boxing career bodes very well for him. I think it counts for a lot of his success while he's been fighting at whatever weight he's been fighting at. You know, when I've seen him, he's got better hands, he's got better movement than most MMA fighters, and that comes from his pure focus on boxing. Obviously it's very hard to shut off everything else and become myopic on one art, but it is a way to really learn that art, right? Like, now, don't get me wrong, when I spar stand-up, I'm a mix of all the arts. But I'm a mix of all the arts because I took the best of what worked for me and I bring them to MMA. And I think that's what's missing, and it'll be missing more and more as fighters sort of just become MMA fighters, right? They might be really good at jiu-jitsu, or at least no-gi jiu-jitsu, because they're going to focus on that to a certain extent, and then all the other arts will become blended. Now, that having been said, no-gi jiu-jitsu and no-gi jiu-jitsu where you're getting punched in the face are completely different arts as well. So, there might always be that rare fellow who can take whatever he gets on the ground and keep going and push through it. But yeah, man, there's no way to know how Chris Curtis's body's going to feel at 170. I don't like weight cuts later in the career as you get older, but look, it worked for Joaquin Buckley very well until he ran into Kamaru Usman last weekend. Everybody, read my book, Warrior of the Light.